Welcome to Evolution on the Mic. I am your host, Ariana de la Cruz.
And I'm your co-host, Antoine Dove.
And we are back, season 8, Faith in Others, episode 2. There's enough for everyone. In our last episode, y'all, we talked about what it means to see people through God's eyes, to believe in their potential before they do, and to speak life into the greatness they yet can see themselves. We shared how to do it, why it matters, and how it can change both of their lives, them and yours. If you guys missed that episode, I highly recommend you watch it and get all the good gems that set the foundation of this season. On today's episode, we're diving into the power of an abundant mindset where we celebrate others' victories, team up when we can, and trust that God's provision never runs out. Because when we live life from a place of abundance, collaboration doesn't take away from you. It multiplies your blessings. But before we get into all of that, Antoine, how are you? How you've been?
I'm great. I'm great, Artie. Yeah, things
You're
are good.
good?
Yeah, things are good. Yeah, we're 1 week out from school. So we're starting soon. I'm excited about that. And I think I'm just gonna take some time this week and just like celebrate just Ava and I just spending some time together before school officially kicks off. Maybe we'll go do something fun. That's just kind of like a daddy-daughter date. I think that'd be cool to do this week. But other than that, things are great, man. I have nothing to complain about. I'm just living a life of gratitude and practicing to be more in that gratitude spirit every day. So that's where I'm at right now. Good things happening. What about you? What's up? What's popping?
Not much. I'm good. I'm feeling blessed as, lately I've just been on a good streak. And, with my business, with my personal life, with my spiritual life, I've been in a very good place and just, excited like I was last week for this season and, talking about faith in others and just un unlocking all these things and what it means, from different lenses. And, today I'm super excited to talk about, that there's more enough for everyone. Last week we spoke about how to help others be seen, right? By encouraging them, by seeing their potential and, hyping them up and being people's, their cheerleaders and, allowing people to do that for you too. But what happens is sometimes is that we get into a mindset of, if I maybe encourage that person or give that person a lot of kudos and lean into them and help them grow, they might go further than me. They might get all the things that I want for myself. So we might be, hesitant to really pour into someone else, to help them see their potential, to help them be seen and, supported, right? And what I want to really convey, what we want to convey in this episode is that there's more enough for everybody. God's economy is abundant. It is not scarce, right? And when we truly believe that there's enough for anybody, we are free to cheer others on. Right? We just want to, we feel empowered to tell you, girl, guy, you got this, you could do this. Why? Because it's like, I know that what's gonna come for you, I'm gonna get too. Right? I know God got me too. Everybody has their time. Everybody has different levels, right? And everything is perfect for what God has for each every individual, And we're free to do that when we come from a mindset of there is enough for everyone, from a mindset of abundance. We just want the best for others genuinely and truly. And we don't mind being that aid for someone to get all that they've dreamed of, to become all that they wanted. Because it's like, I know by me doing this for you, I'm doing it for myself, because positive energy feeds off of positive energy. So you're giving somebody that positive energy and support and encouragement, even if it's something that's exactly what you want, but you're giving that to somebody else, that energy is going to come right back to you. And when I was thinking about this episode, it made me think about something that just happened recently. I'm in a lot of mentorships, and these mentorships, there's mentees and people that are starting from day one in their business, right? They have a lot of questions, they don't know everything, and they just want to figure it out. So they leave questions in these mentorships, like in the school community or whatever platform it's on. And I have over 2 years in my business, in my funding company, and removing inquiries and stuff like that. So I know a thing or two. I've spent countless hours, made a lot of mistakes, spent a lot of money on coaches, to get me to where I'm at today. And there was a point where I'm like, I see people asking questions in the groups, and I'm like, Adi, you have like 90% of these people's answers to their questions. Why don't you just be that person to give them the answers, you know? And they can be successful. And I'm like, and this is what happened. Scarcity kicked in. First of all, that's not my group. You know, I'm not getting paid to teach these people. I know I'm not going to do that. Two, I was like, well, I haven't hit my goal monthly revenue, right? My goal monthly revenue is to hit 6-figure months, right? Right now, I'm at 5-figure months, which is beautiful, amazing, you know? But my goal is to hit 6-figure months, right? So I'm like, I'm not at my goal. Why am I going to feed into someone else that's not even my mentorship, right? And just give people the answers. And I told my best friend Laval this recently, and I was like, you know, I feel like I have these people's answers, and I sometimes feel bad because like I could answer their questions and get them moving further along in their funding companies. And she told me something that like was a rude awakening for me, that I was like, wow, that's so true. She was like, do you know that when you feed into someone else and you give them the answers, you are helping yourself grow and get answers from others, because what you give out, you're going to get in return. You know, she said, God gave you these gifts to be resourceful, to figure it out. And you've gotten so far along in your journey because people have came in, you know, helped you, answered your questions, whether you paid for it or not. God allowed for you to be where you're at now. You know, you need to give of your resources, give of your information, of your skills. And when you do that freely from a place of abundance, you know that that's going to come back to you some shape, way, or form, you know? And I'm like, damn, you're right. It isn't about it. This is about abundance. I'm thinking scarcity. I don't want everybody to have all this information that I know, because then everybody's going to run off and do exactly what I'm doing. And then things might mess up for me because not everybody, you know, is running the place. And I don't want everybody to run the place, you know? And, you know, she helped me shift my mindset to an abundance mindset. And I was like, damn, in this situation, like I am withholding information. I am withholding skills. I am withholding resources that can liberate someone to go further along in their journey. And I can do that for them. Why not do it? You know, even if there's nothing in it for me in that moment, I am being a good steward, right? I am helping someone else. I am leading someone into, you know, their next big breakthrough in their business, you know, because clearly they're asking a question, they feel stuck, you know? So I can help them get unstuck and help them propel. And I was like, wow, you're right. So recently somebody asked a question, and, you know, at first I was like, do I want to answer it? And I thought about what Lavelle said, you know, abundance, it's okay. You know, just give of your resources and more will be returned to you. And, you know, that's being, you know, a steward of God and being helpful. And I did. And I felt so good, right?
Mm.
It shifted something within me. You know what I mean? That we don't have to live in a mindset of, you know, they're going to take what I have and my information and how I do things. And, you know, I worked hard for this and I spent all this money. It just cleared the way for me to be like, here you go. Like, I'm grateful. I'm glad that I went through what I've went through and I've learned what I've learned, because now I can freely and easily give you this information that is going to help you structure things differently. That's going to help you, you know, treat things differently in your business so that you can do what you got to do. You know what I mean? And excel at it, you know? And it felt good. And now I'm doing that more and more because there is enough for everybody to go around, you know? And the more I help and the more people see, wow, Adi's, you know, answering our questions and she's giving good information, you know, that's just going to help me be an authoritative figure in my industry, because it's like, Adi knows her stuff, you know? So I went from this, you know, very closed, small-minded thinking to this abundant thinking that, you know, that is centered in God and in my faith and in what's right. And it feels good. It's not just something I'm doing because, oh, I know God is going to reward me. It's something that I'm doing because it is the right thing to do, right? It is, you know, the Christ-like thing to do. And I don't know. I feel good. And I think that that's important because a lot of us fall into the trap of, I'm not going to, you know, give you the answers. I'm not going to help you get where you need to go because you might get there faster than me. You might get everything that I've wanted and you go and figure it out your stuff like I had to do, and that's just ego and that's fear. And that's, you comparing yourself and being in competition. And, competition often stems from fear, and insecurity. The lie that someone else's success diminishes ours. There is nobody's success that's going to diminish mine. There is nobody's success out there that is going to diminish yours because your path, your plan, your way to go in your life is where God is taking you. Mm-hmm. And doesn't matter what they're doing. You just continue to be of servant. You continue to give of your resources and, what God has given you, release that into the world and help someone else get to what they're, need to get. And that's going to help, if anything, propel your success, not diminish it, because you're releasing this energy of abundance when you're releasing of your information, of your resources, of your knowledge, of the skills. That is, an energy that you're putting out that you are going to receive back in some shape or way or form. Everything that you put out will become multiplied back to you. That's just law. That is something that I've seen numerous times in my life. I give, $50, I get back 150. Like, I give out $500, I'm getting back 1,500. And I don't give it out because I know that it's going to come back triple to me. It's just a feeling that I get when I'm doing it, knowing that I'm being of service, knowing that I'm giving of a resource that God gave me, God gave me the intellect. He gave me, the money. He gave me this information. He's brought people, places, and things into my life to help me get to where I'm at. God did that, So when I release it out and I give it this beautiful energy of here you go, like I want to do this for you, like I want to make you feel good. I want to see you win. You're gonna win. There's just no way that you're not. In time, you're going to see more wins coming your way, more opportunities coming your way, more people coming to help you and be like, girl, you don't got to pay me. I got you. Don't worry. What do you need? And these are things that are just going to happen naturally. You're not going to go looking for it and say, oh, I did that. Where is my time? Where is the people coming to help me? Because look at everything I did. No, your time will come. You leave that up to God. You just keep being a person of service and an abundant energy mindset person. And, your success will come. It's just inevitable. So I don't know if there's anything that came to you as I'm talking about these things, because I think it's impactful. It's when you shift your perspective from that scarcity, I'm going to withhold, to abundance, I'm just going to release and give. And I know that God is going to have my back.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm thinking about areas of my life where maybe I was quote unquote gatekeeping or not wanting to share something because of a fear. And I think what you're sharing is so spot on. And I would even extend it to say that when it comes to abundance, it applies not only to financial situations, but it applies to every aspect of your life. I strongly believe the experiences that we go through are not always just for us. Sometimes the experiences we go through are for others. And we don't know where that's going to happen. We don't know where those paths are going to cross. And if we're constantly coming from a place of everything I'm going through, or life is not happening to me, but life is happening for me, and through it happening for me, it's allowing me to have an impact on others. It to me, when I say that, I get this beautiful feeling like the things we're doing is so much bigger than us. It's more than a competition or this. It's about collaboration. It's about us coming together. It's about us helping and supporting each other. And so I agree with you. I think, and I have found myself at times maybe not wanting to share something because I thought, well, what if this person finds this out and they use this against me? Or if I share this, what if this person, gets ahead of me? Like, I want to be number one. And I'm actually thinking about this recently because I was doing this one thing where uh, one of my side gigs is I drive black car service, and we had this competition where we were trying to get reviews, and I found a certain way of asking for a review at the end of the ride that almost guaranteed every time I would get one. Because again, when people are getting out of the car, they're busy, they're trying to rush, get into the airport. They're not trying to write a review. Even if you ask them, they forget about it. But I found this unique way of how to do it and ask for it where it would help. And basically, 5 minutes before I get to the airport, I'd start telling them about the review. They're already sitting in the car, they have nothing to do, so they would write it.
Hmm.
And it helped. And this was a competition. Whoever got the most reviews got a cash prize. And for so long throughout that entire experience, I didn't want to share how I was doing it with other folks on the team because I didn't want them
Mm.
to win. I wanted to win. And as I think back about that scenario, what was so faltered in my mindset was that I was making it all about me. And the reviews were never about me. The reviews were about the bigger picture. It was about the business. It was about promoting and being able to provide a service to people who didn't even know about us. And reviews was one way of how we can do it. And so I tell that story because it's rare that what we're experiencing and things we're going through is just about us. It's usually a much bigger experience, much bigger purpose behind it that God is taking us through so that there will come a day, such as sitting in a classroom where you have a tons of knowledge where you can help that next person and keep them moving along the path that God has called them for.
Wow, I love that you shared that. And like when you were saying it originally, like, you knew and you were like, I'm not going to share this because, you wanted to win the cash prize before you even talked about that it was the mission was, in totality of that company. It wasn't about you or anything like that. I thought about that. And I'm like, damn, that's kind of selfish because that wasn't really about you.
Right.
That's for the company overall, that owner that is willing to put, his money where his mouth is and, motivate you to get the reviews, but it's, because they want to promote their business.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that you said that, like in the beginning, you're like, I'm not going to share it because I want to win the money. But then you stopped yourself and it's like, no, you know what I mean? Like collaboration creates multiplication. When
Mm-hmm.
people work together, when you're giving that information and now other people are applying it, right? There's more impact, right? There's more impact in that than just you acing it and you getting all the reviews because that's just one person. Imagine if you get 50 reviews a month and other people are getting like 5 in a month. Imagine if everybody got 50 a month because they're following your tactic, right? That is greater impact, right?
Mm-hmm.
That impact growth is much bigger than, together than alone. But if you had not
Agree.
released that information, if you don't, then you're withholding that company from going and achieving the things that, it was set out to achieve. And for people that really need that service to have it and find it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you can have the greatest service, the greatest company, best everything. But if nobody knows about it, that's kind of selfish too, because it's like, you're not um you're not displaying what you can do for other people to know about it and find you and get the benefits from that.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I've never ridden in that service, but I'm sure if I found it somewhere and I experienced it, I'm going to be grateful that somebody did what they have to do to get those reviews and so it can be seen and known. So that's an awesome example, exactly what we're talking about. There is more than enough for everybody, you know, more than enough for everybody. And in sharing that information, even if you know what I mean, are the winner of that, right? There has to be a winner. But ultimately, what's the real win is the impact that you are adding on to that company
Right.
by allowing other people to share in that information. For this week's challenge, there's a few things that I want you guys to do to really tap into this mindset of there's enough for everybody. The first thing we want you to do is think of someone in your space that you usually or maybe sometimes see as competition. Two, we want you to send them an encouraging message or share a resource that you know, or invite them to collaborate in something that you're doing. Three, we want you to pray for their success like you mean it, like if it's your own success. Four, we want you to shout them out publicly so others can celebrate them too. Because when you believe there's enough for everyone, your light doesn't dim, it makes the whole room brighter. And this is what you'll be doing when you take on this week's challenge and acknowledge someone and shout them out and share a resource with them, give them a gem, something that praise them publicly. You are having the whole room shine because you're allowing them to shine, but ultimately, inside that light, that love that lives within you is shining bright within you as well. And it's going to be helpful for everyone involved. I want to share a quick prayer. If you're somewhere where you can't close your eyes, just really let this marinate in your soul. Dear God, thank you for reminding us that you are a God of abundance. Remove from our hearts the fear that there isn't enough to go around. Teach us to celebrate others without envy, to partner without hesitation, and to trust that the plans you have for us cannot be taken away by anyone else. Fill us with the courage to extend a hand instead of raising a fist, to build bridges instead of walls. May our collaboration glorify you. Thank you, God. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
As usual, if you have any thoughts, comments, or anything that you'd like to share with us, we'd love to hear from you. So drop a comment below. And with that, thank you for tuning in. And until our next episode, always remember that having faith in God, having faith in yourself, and having faith in others will create the evolution that you are seeking.
Let's go.